Hitler steps onto the podium. He raises his right hand in the Roman salute. Among the audience, there is a real hysteria. It seems that he has some inexplicable power over people. He possesses some secret knowledge that gives him supernatural magical power. This is one of the still unsolved mysteries of the Nazis. Few people know that behind Hitler's back was a secret occult society that helped him on his way to absolute power, and about which there are still sinister rumors. They called it the Thule Society. It is believed that its adepts possessed some ancient mystical knowledge. This knowledge supposedly helped them to remain invulnerable, and also to subjugate the masses of people who were even ready to kill their own children on command, and voluntarily go to death, killing others, throwing their right hand up in ecstasy in the Roman salute. This occult society called itself the Study Group of Germanic Antiquity, the Thule Society, after the name of the mythical northern country from ancient Greek legends. More precisely, it was Ultima Thule, the northernmost part of the mythical island, which, in their understanding, once existed somewhere between Greenland and Iceland. They believed that the descendants of some higher Nordic race lived on it, which once moved there from the dying continent of Atlantis. This dark story began in the early 20th century, when the Völkische movement began to emerge in Germany. It was the so-called People's Movement. Its source was German ethnic nationalism, mixed with occult theories and ancient pagan cults of pre-Christian Europe. This movement spawned many different circles and societies, and Thule at first seemed to be just one of many, where they studied and popularized ancient Germanic literature and culture. Thule was much more than that. What they were really doing was not culture but occultism. However, unlike other nationalist societies, the nationalism in Thule was truly zoological. Jews, Roma, so-called degenerates and revolutionaries were not considered people in this society. In belief of its members, all such people should be annihilated. Conducting secret occult rituals at their meetings, the sectarians awaited the coming of their Messiah, the one who could bring their terrible ideas to life, awakening dark forces. The man who founded the secret Thule Society in 1918 was named Rudolf von Sebottendorf. However, it is believed that he simply appropriated both the name and the baronial title. He claimed that he had been given up for adoption to the Sebottendorf family, and therefore he had the right to bear both the surname and the title. In fact, this man was named Adam Alfred Rudolf Glauer. He was indeed born in Germany, to the family of an ordinary mechanic from Dresden. He began his career as a sailor. He worked in Egypt, then in Turkey, where he took citizenship of the Ottoman Empire. And that's where the interesting stuff starts. That which allows us to understand the origin of the crazy mix of pagan beliefs, religions, and mysticism in the Thule Society he founded. In the East, Rudolf von Sebottendorf became interested in Freemasonry and Theosophy, as well as numerology, Islamic Sufism, and, oddly enough, Jewish Kabbalah. Later he joined the secret mystical order of the Rose and Cross, the Order of the Rosicrucians, and already at the age of 37, he decided that he had finally found the key to spiritual enlightenment. He even initially founded in Istanbul his own secret society based on the strange mix of knowledge he had acquired. But soon he decided to return to Germany. In the homeland of his ancestors, the Turkish mystic continued his quest and even received the title of a regional leader of the German order, Secret Society. But that was not enough for him. And in 1918, Sebottendorf decided to create his own secret occult society in Munich. It was Thule. According to him, it was an organization that inherited the laws of the Rosicrucians, an ancient medieval German order, which he joined while living in the East. To promote his views, Rudolf von Sebottendorf bought the daily Munich newspaper, Münchner Beobachter. It was this newspaper that would later become the main organ of Hitler's Nazi party, the NSDAP. The new secret organization initially disguised itself as an innocuous student society. for the study of Germanic antiquities. But at their meetings, they talked about completely different things. About Jews, who were supposedly to blame for all the troubles of Germany. About the purity of the German race. About the destruction of parasitic and revolutionary elements. About the great German Reich and its domination in the world. And they conducted some occult rituals that, in their opinion, should help bring the Messiah into the world, who, with their knowledge, would return Germany to its former greatness. Only in Munich, von Sebottendorf managed to attract 250 people to the Thule Society. These were not only war veterans, but also journalists, writers, university professors, and army officers. And all over Bavaria, 500 people have joined the order. Among them there were the future right-hand man of Hitler, Rudolf Hess, the ideologue of Nazism, Alfred Rosenberg, the commander of the SA stormtroopers, Ernst Röhm, and the organizer of the genocide in Poland, Hans Frank. A regular guest of the gatherings was also the publisher of the anti-Semitic magazine, Dietrich Eckart. It was Eckart who, after another occult session at the Thule Society, wrote a poem about the figure of the Great. This Great supposedly is an ordinary German soldier with burning, fiery eyes who will come and save the German people. Exactly 1 month after writing the poem, in the winter of 1919, Dietrich Eckart accidentally came across a speech by an agitator of the Reichswehr, Corporal Hitler. He, as if bewitched, listened to the speech of a hero of the First World War in front of members of the German Workers' Party. In Hitler, he saw everything he wrote about in his poem, and the soldiers' past, and the fiery blazing eyes and determination to save the German people. This is Germany's next great man. One day the whole world will be talking about him. That's what Eckart said about Hitler after this historic meeting. Eckart, who was 21 years older than Hitler, took the talented veteran orator under his wing. He introduced him to the Thule Secret Society. It is believed that it was from this moment that Hitler's political career took a sharp upward turn. It was the occult ideology of the Thule, which coincided with his beliefs. That would become the basis on which Hitler would build his ideology of the Third Reich. This explosive mixture of Valkyrie and Siegfried legends, obsessed with the occult practices of Eastern Sufism, European Freemasonry, Jewish bondage, and at the same time, primitive anti-Semitism, worked. The society found a mystical formula for influencing people, and a Messiah was found who was to bring it to life. So Eckart became his prophet under the Messiah, who began to make Hitler a new leader of the nation. Eckart became his spiritual mentor. He presented his disciple as a future leader to influential sponsors, who began to actively fill his party's coffers. It was Eckart who taught the former sergeant manners, helped to hone his writing style and characteristic manner of speeches. And of course, he taught Hitler some of the special secret rituals of the Thule Society, which exactly, today we can only guess. After a while, Hitler ceased to need Eckart's help. They continued to communicate, but the entrenched Führer had already sufficiently mastered the secret formula of power found in the occult society. Hitler decided he was ready to act on his own. But allegedly, the Thule Secret Society always stood behind him. And Hitler knew to whom he actually owed his success. There is no confirmation of this. But it is surmised that those hundreds of thousands of people shot by Nazi Einsatz groups, millions of people exterminated in concentration camps, were victims of a terrible cult invented by the Thule Society, a cult that allowed Hitler not just to remain in power for many years, but also to conquer almost all Europe. It seemed that Hitler was helped by the devil himself, as by associating with Thule, Hitler not only gained absolute power, but he also became invulnerable. The Führer managed to survive 42 assassination attempts. Starting in 1921, they tried to poison him, shoot him, blow him up. And each time some force intervened that diverted death from Adolf Hitler. For example, on 8 November 1939, a column was mined in the beer hall Bürgerbräukeller, near the podium where the Führer was speaking. But suddenly, without explanation, He left 7 minutes before the explosion. On 13th of March 1943, a bomb hidden in a bag with 2 bottles of cognac was placed in Hitler's plane. But for unknown reasons, its fuse did not go off. On 14th July 1944, Hitler was to be shot by British snipers during his holiday at the Berghof residence in the Bavarian Alps. The plan backfired. On 20th of July, during a meeting in Berlin, Colonel Stauffenberg placed a briefcase containing plastic explosives under the Führer's desk. The explosion killed 4 people. Hitler got away with only an abrasion of his arm and ruptured eardrums. But a pact with the devil, as we know, is signed in blood. Having escaped dozens of assassination attempts, the Führer, as a result, shot himself. At least that's what the official story says. And according to the unofficial version, the Führer managed to escape in a submarine and lived to a ripe old age in Latin America. If so, it is quite possible that even then Hitler was helped by those sinister forces, to which he sacrificed the lives of millions of people. Those were powers from the netherworld of the Valkyries and the Nibelungs, the door to which Hitler was helped to open by the priests of the Thule German secret society.